The story begins with a school where a coach is showing the school to his students and getting quite angry at their poor performance. As a punishment, he makes them practice continuously for an hour. After all the training finishes, the coach starts noticing something strange on the playground, something lying on the ground that he touches to see if it's alive. Suddenly, someone comes from behind the coach and the scene cuts abruptly. Next, we see members of the school staff leaving after finishing their lectures. Among them are the chemistry teacher and the school principal, who leave together. Suddenly, the principal remembers leaving something on her desk and asks the chemistry teacher to wait while she goes back inside. The principal hurriedly retrieves the document from her desk when suddenly the coach appears in front of her. Initially terrified, the principal is relieved when the coach picks up a pencil lying nearby and hands it to her. However, the coach seems oddly amused at her distress, causing the principal to flee in fear. Unbeknownst to her, the coach had already closed the door behind her. Meanwhile, the chemistry teacher asks for help from the principal to quickly get her out. It's then revealed that she'll need to get the key to open the door. The dangerous coach continues to advance to attack the principal, but she quickly finds the key and runs away, opening the door to leave. And just as the principal exits, before the coach reaches her, the chemistry teacher, out of control, starts attacking the principal. She continuously hits her on the face and body, causing fatal injuries. The next day, inside the same school, Casey, a boy who secretly loves his friend Layla, sees Mary, a new student who is unfamiliar with the school's culture and rules. Meanwhile, school staff members are seen heading to take their lectures. The coach, still present, continues sipping water. After a while, the chemistry teacher arrives, the one who had murdered the principal the previous night, and starts laughing upon seeing the coach. It becomes evident that the coach and the chemistry teacher somehow know each other and are the only ones aware of who killed the principal the previous night. Casey, now present on the school grounds, finds a strange creature on his way, a type he had never seen before. He takes the creature directly to the head of the laboratory, where students are conducting experiments. When the teacher examines the creature closely, it appears to have already died. They place it on a plate, but as soon as water accidentally spills on it from a student's hand, the creature suddenly comes back to life. Amazed by this, the teacher decides to immerse the creature in a tank of water. Despite having been dead just moments before, the creature springs back to life. This unusual sight fascinates the teacher, who had never encountered such a creature before. In those two parts, two new creatures are born when touched, meaning they multiply upon contact and create different creatures. However, when the teacher again puts her hand into the water, that dangerous creature extends its teeth and bites her hand, drawing blood despite wearing gloves. The teacher instructs all students to stay away and grants permission to return to their class. Now, Casey's friend Jake, who was seen showering, is presented. He never bathes at home and uses only the school's restroom. Suddenly, his class teacher, looking very unwell, appears before him. Jake gets quite scared upon seeing the teacher and starts moving away from her. The sad-looking teacher seems to be in depression, and Jake decides to support her by hugging her and patting her head. However, at that moment, all the teacher's hair starts falling out, shocking Jake. He couldn't understand what happened, and in the next moment, the teacher collapses in the staff room directly from the bathroom. The coach, who met with the chemistry teacher, informs Jake that the class teacher had a strange type of cancer and would die within a few days. He knew that she had been sick for a while. Upon inspection, when he saw a black spot in the lentil, he noticed something when he saw the coach standing in. Now upon seeing such dangerous things, Layla starts screaming, which made the coach realize that there is someone hidden inside him. As soon as the coach opens the cupboard door, Casey and Layla stun them and quickly start running away from the staff room. Casey understood that both the coach and the chemistry teacher are affected by those insects because if those insects enter anyone's body, they will get infected. Now, while running away, they encounter the principal, who had passed away just a few days ago. Casey and Layla understand that the principal might also have been infected somehow, so they quickly move away from there as well. Someone had called the police to the school after seeing all these things. When the police officers' team investigates everywhere, nothing strange appears to them. The principal takes the police officer to talk in her room. A little later, when they both come out, Casey notices some changes in the police officer's behavior, meaning that maybe even the police officer is infected now. Due to the wrong reason to call the police, Casey has to endure a lot of defamation. When his parents found out about this matter, they were quite angry with Casey, especially Casey's father started thinking that Casey has become a drug addict and he is slipping away from his hands. Because of this, Casey's father intentionally locked him inside the room so that he couldn't go anywhere. But now Casey needed to understand all these things, how those insects are controlling people by infecting them. If their population increases, then all people will come under their control. Casey finishes all his work and quickly goes to meet Layla. He was about to leave through the window of his house when he saw on the sidewalk that those infected teachers and coach were standing in front of him, staring at him continuously, ready to kill Casey. Casey gets very scared, so his balance gets disturbed and he falls down. Due to so much noise, Casey's father also arrives there. When Casey looked around on the sidewalk, all the teachers had disappeared from there, which made him unable to understand whether it was his delusion or reality. The next day, after coming to school, Casey talks to Layla about all these things because those small insects can be quite dangerous. Then we are shown the staff room of the school where all the teachers were behaving in a strange manner. Seeing this changing behavior, it was confirmed that maybe all the teachers of the school have been infected due to that small insect. The teachers were continuously drinking water. Because those strange insects gained strength from water, now we see Casey's friend, Jick, who used to sell drugs at school. There used to be a long line of students to buy drugs, so Jick was selling comfortably. But one of Jick's teachers came up to him and said that you are doing very wrong work. You should leave all these things. Jick also couldn't understand why the teacher, who used to take drugs from him some time ago, is now against him suddenly for taking drugs. Now we see Casey and Layla talking to their other friend in the library who were discussing about all the changing behavior of teachers. Since that small insect came to our college, all these things started. Therefore, now Casey, Layla, and some of their friends come to that same laboratory where that insect was kept inside the tank. But after checking in that tank, they found out that the insect is not present there anymore. Where did it go? Nobody has any idea. Just then, Jick and a new student, Mary, arrive in the laboratory, who perhaps came to accompany someone's call. But now the professor of that laboratory comes behind them, whose hand was bitten by that insect. After the professor arrives, Jick asks him what happened to that insect that Casey had kept in the water tank. The professor was not responding to anything. Jick starts suspecting the professor along with Casey and the others. Therefore, they start going to inform the other staff members, but then the professor grabs Jick and tries to kill him. The professor goes completely out of control as if someone else is controlling his body. The professor attacks Casey and other students to take their lives. But Jick picks up a blade at the right time and with its help, cuts off the professor's fingers. This seems to be an intriguing narrative involving mysterious insects affecting people and causing erratic behavior. But what was astonishing was that the professor's fingers began to extend suddenly, as if he had gained life within him. He started advancing towards the other students continuously to cut them. In the professor's bitten hand, strange tentacles were coming out which also started affecting Jick. However, Jick quickly pulled out an injection of drugs from his pocket and injected it into the professor's eye. Upon the injection of the drug, when it entered the professor's body, he immediately started dying. White-colored marks started appearing all over the professor's body, and soon he began to DOT, likely means disintegrate or decompose. Casey, Layla, and the other students managed to save themselves by quickly running to Jick's house. Upon entering, they saw that Jick had set up his place very well to make drugs. This meant that Jick was making drugs at his home and then selling them at school. Here, Jick was telling the others that he suspects all these things are happening because of that insect. While fleeing, Jick had stolen the insect from the professor's pocket, which was present inside the tank. Jick and the other students first cut a small part of that insect to confirm their story and placed it next to a rat inside a cage. As soon as the weird alien insect noticed that there was a living being around it, it activated and started controlling the rat by extending its tentacles outside. The insect had entered the rat, meaning that all of them were right. That insect was controlling humans in that way. Just then, Jick got an idea and saw a little drugs on the insect. As soon as the drugs hit its body, it started to DOT and die right away. Jick got this idea when he injected drugs into the professor's eye, which caused him to die right there. This is what Jick was telling everyone. If we want to find out if any of us are affected by these insects, we will have to consume some drugs. Casey and the others understood Jick's words, and now one by one, everyone started taking drugs. After Casey, Mary, and the others took drugs, nothing happened. But when it was Layla's turn, she refused to take drugs. When forced, Layla started running away from there swiftly, which made everyone understand that Layla was also affected by those insects. That's why she wasn't taking drugs. Now those insects had gradually taken control of many civilians in the city. Casey was explaining to the others here that perhaps if we manage to kill the queen of these creatures, the other insects won't survive either. Everyone felt that the principal was the first one to be affected. That's why maybe the alien queen was inside her body. All the students, including Jick, quickly came to school in Jick's car and surrounded the principal from all sides. Now they were deliberately feeding drugs to the principal, hoping that the alien queen inside her would come out and kill her. But the principal, with full awareness, refused to consume all those drugs. Jick was very angry by now, so he took out his gun and shot at the principal's head. The principal died right there for a while, making the students think that they had finally killed the alien queen. But in the very next moment, the principal stood up and began to convert into her real form, which was a very dangerous creature. Jick and the others quickly started sprinkling all the drugs they had on the principal because they understood that the alien queen was inside her, controlling the other insects. They almost finished all their drugs by pouring them on the principal, but here, Coach and all his students were getting wet in the rain because the insect had taken control of all of them due to the water, increasing all their strength even more. Layla's friend sees all this, who had gone to inform her other friends who were present in school. Layla's friend was asking his companions to open the door, but Casey and Jot first tell him to confirm by taking drugs that he is not infected. Layla's friend drops the drugs down because he was indeed infected in reality, meaning that now one more companion had reduced. They had to get out of this place as soon as possible, otherwise they too could get infected. But the shocking thing was that all of them had run out of drugs, which they had blown away on the principal. But Jick told them that there is still a little drugs left in my car, which if we get it, we will get a lot of help. Casey and Jick quickly left the school and went towards Jick's car to get those drugs. But now maybe Coach and all his students, who had been affected, had seen Casey and Jick, who were constantly following them. Jick and Casey quickly moved to hide on the other side. Casey sneaked into the school bus and hid there, but in front of him was not anyone else but Layla, who was infected. Meanwhile, Coach's infected students started infiltrating from the other side. But showing great cunning, Casey jumped out from the upper part of the school bus and started running away from there. On the other side, Jick began searching for all the drugs in his car's trunk, but he couldn't find any drugs anywhere. Just as he closed the trunk and moved to the front part of the car, he suddenly saw his teacher in front of him, who was refusing drugs. Judging from her behavior, it was clear that the teacher had also been infected, and she attacked Jick in the next moment. Jick tried very hard to avoid her attack, but there was no escape route near him, so he crashed his car into a truck. In that explosion, the teacher's head was cut off, but she was infected, so strange tentacles were coming out from inside her severed head, which were moving on the road. Now they went back and stuck to their bodies. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Jick started running away from there immediately. Inside the school, Mary and her friend were sitting, waiting for Casey and Jick. They felt that as long as they were in school, no one could touch them. But in the very next moment, Mary's behavior began to change, and she started converting into her real alien queen form, meaning Casey and the others were understanding that the principal wasn't the alien queen, it was Mary. Mary, now in her original alien queen form, began attacking everyone. Mary, meaning that she had already attacked Casey and Jick. The alien queen first goes to her female friend, who starts pulling her into the pool to infect her. Casey's friend had already fallen into the water, but in the next moment, Casey somehow manages to pull her friend out and save her, taking her to the other side. The alien queen, upon seeing this, had become quite large by now. Her size had turned quite tentacle-like and was looking quite dangerous. Now here, Jick, who was saving his female friend, began to suspect that due to falling into the water, his other female friend had also been infected, and now she was stuck on both sides. Mary and the other female friend. But as soon as the other friend attacked Jick, Casey grabbed her. And Casey throws it far away. In Casey's hands, there were some modified drug injections that he took and ran away from there. Jot was unconscious right there due to the injury, and now the alien queen, Mary, continuously pursued Casey to kill him. Casey was hiding himself in any way he could from the alien queen. He intentionally came in front of the alien queen and ran to another place, which kept the alien queen chasing him continuously. After coming to a perfect spot, Casey closed that place off, trapping the alien queen right there. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Casey immediately comes in front of her and injects her body filled with drugs. Due to the drugs, the alien queen started writhing suddenly, and within a short time, she struggled and died right there. Meaning, Casey finally finished off the alien queen. Due to the death of the alien queen, all the people who had been infected also became fine. Everyone started living their lives happily. And in this way, our movie ends here.